Hi everyone, hope all of you are doing great. And today I would be showing you a quick demo in Microsoft Fabric with the features which are available within the streaming data. So if you go into the Fabric portal, you will see there is a separate section for streaming, and there are a lot of things that we can do in streaming. And full disclaimer, this is something which is already there in Microsoft Fabric blog. If you go into it and read it, you can replicate this particular demo easily. But you have to read and you have to be a bit familiar with the UI which is there. So, but for the beginners who are not that much familiar with different features in Fabric, I think this will be a good starting point to start your learning journey in Fabric when it comes to streaming data. Okay, so without any further delay, let me quickly show the overall architecture that is uh, used in this demo. So if you see here, this is the public API. So we have a public API which is present there, which is sending us data in a real-time basis for a international space satellite. So if I go into the portal, this is actually the portal from where we are getting the data. This is opennotify.org. I will describe that in the description section as well. So from here, you can take the data in JSON format, and you can process the data, show it in reports, and do whatever stuffs you want. So our architecture starts with this starting point where we are getting the data from a public API. Once we get the JSON response from those API, we are putting that into our Spark notebook, which is actually processing the data. And also, we have scheduled this particular notebook to send data to our Azure Event Stream or Event Hub in 5-second interval. So the next thing that we can see in this particular architecture is that the data which are being processed in the Spark notebook are sent to this event stream. And from this event stream, eventually the data comes to the KQL database. KQL or Kusto Query Language, the full form is. Many of you might be aware, some might not. And here we are actually storing the data. And this is the recommended database when it comes to Azure regarding the streaming data. And finally, from this KQL database, we are visualizing that particular data, whatever we have receiving from the API in a beautiful Power BI report. So this is the overall architecture. Now let's jump into the Fabric portal and let's start coding or building this particular application. Okay, so once you're logged into your home page, I hope whoever are using a trial version of this Fabric, they have to enable the trial, which will be for 90 days. And after that, there is also a provision to, continue for another certain days. So the point is that until unless you are not enabling the trial, you will not be able to see the other, like this other data engineering, data science, or all the other features which are there right now in Fabric. So we are interested in the streaming or a real-time analytics. So let's start into that. So the first step, as I show you in the architecture, is to get the data from the API, which is already there. Once we have that data, we have to store it somewhere. So for that, the first step would be to create a Kusto query language database. So let me start with that. Okay, before that, let me create a workspace. Okay, as you know, in Azure, all the assets that you are building apart from your own My Workspace, you can publish all your data set when you are doing in a collaborative manner with your colleagues and other friends, so that you can put them into a workspace, so that apart from you, whoever you want to share those particular assets, they can also access that. So it's kind of a folder if you think of it. So I create a new workspace. Okay, so let me now create a workspace and let me name it demo streaming. Sorry. Okay, I think it's now created. So within this demo streaming workspace, I will create a KQL database. Let's give it a name, demo stream KQL. And since we are actually taking the data from International Space Satellite API, let's give it a naming convention like this. And maybe we can give the demo part at the end. Okay, so the type will be a new database. Let me create it right away. It takes few seconds to create this. So we are already having this database. Now, what next? We have the database. Now we want to create a event stream. So event stream is actually a orchestrator which will run your Spark notebook. So whatever the notebook that we are creating, which will be sending data to our event hub. So that orchestration needs to be done in an event stream. So let me create an event stream. Let me go to the workspace. Let me create an event stream now. And here again, the same naming convention, ISS event stream, the type of the service we are creating, demo. Let me create this. So once it's created, you will be able to see that there is a source and there is a destination. So you need to mention a source, that is the streaming data that we are getting from the API, which is getting stored into our event hub, and finally it is getting stored into a KQL database. So for the new source, let me add a custom app and let me name it as ISS source app, and let me add this. So still now it's a placeholder that I have created when our Spark notebook will process the API response and then send it to Event Hub. So here you see, this is the Event Hub, which is within this particular demo app. And we are having some keys for that particular service, which later on, when I will be showing you the notebook, which we will be able to connect our Spark notebook with this particular event hub. Okay, so let me copy this connection string and store it somewhere in a notebook, let's say. So let me create a notebook quickly. Okay, and we are actually serving the endpoint there. Okay, done. Now this is the destination, which we will come back later on. So for now, let us go and create the notebook. Let me come to my workspace and then I will create a notebook. So it's kind of a notebook that you have previously used in Databricks. So only thing is that the cluster is within the Fabric environment itself. You don't need to bother setting up everything. All the integration part, it's been already taken care within the Fabric. You don't need to go away from the comfort of this particular screen, okay, to write your Python code or PySpark or whatever you want. So now let me create the script. I have the script somewhere there. Okay, let me pull it up for you. Okay, so the first step would be to install some of the libraries. So we are installing Azure Event Hub as well as the scheduler that we would be needing to schedule this particular notebook to run in 5-second interval so that it can send the data to the Azure Event Hub at interval of 5 seconds. Some error is there. Let me try with the magic command if it works. Yep, it worked. So after that, I need to show you the raw JSON response, how I'm getting the response so that you can parse it. No worries, the script will also be there to parse it. So now what I need to show you the raw response from the API. Okay, let me add this. So this is the API from where we are getting the data. We will be getting the latitude and longitude as well as the message from the API. So this is the format of that particular JSON. Okay. Now what next? So we will be now creating the actual script. For that, I need some of the libraries. Okay, it's done. And then we have a function which we will go together and understand what actually it is doing. But before that, let me create it first. Okay, done. So actually what this function is doing, it is actually sending the International Space Station data to our Azure Event Hub. Okay, so this is the response or API from where we are getting the response, which already we have shown you. So if it is 200, that means it's the call is successful. Okay, so then we will be actually take that response as a JSON format and store that into this particular variable. And after that, we will dump that data, okay, as a JSON format. Okay, so now what actually this event string is doing. So we need to, replace this particular connection with the one that you will be creating. As I have showed you previously that we have stored it, right? The API endpoint for the event hub where actually the data will be sent after we get the response from the API. Okay, nice and fine. So here I have replaced it with my event hub endpoint. Okay, okay. So now, so now this is a producer. So this is the event hub producer client, which we have previously installed, and it is using this particular connection to create that particular connection object. Okay, and using the producer object, we are creating the variable where we will be creating the batches. Okay, so we are right now creating a particular batch function with that producer object, and then we are actually passing the body as that particular JSON response that we have received in the previous step. Okay, and once that producer can send that particular batch to our event hub, we will print a message that data has been sent to Azure Event Hub successfully. Okay, but if it's failed for some reason, we will also print out that failure message. Okay, and finally there is a scheduler, so which is actually doing the scheduling this particular notebook at each and every 5 seconds. Okay, so now if I run this cell, hopefully it should send data to our Azure Event Hub. Okay, so it has started running, and voila, you see we have successfully sent the first batch of data to our Event Hub. Now if I go to the Event Hub now, or the event stream, okay, we should be able to see the data. Let's see. So this is the Event Hub, right? And here we will be able to see the data if everything works well. Now if I go into the data preview, let's wait for some seconds for the data to load. Let me refresh it. Okay, and meanwhile the data is getting loaded, let me add the destination to it. Okay, so now what is the destination where we will store that particular data sets that we are receiving, the streams of data that we are receiving? Okay, oh yeah, the data has loaded, you see, right? Whatever the batches of data that been sent in a real time from that particular API, it is now populated within this event hub. Okay, that particular notebook is running, and each and every 5 second interval it is sending the data to the event hub. Okay, and now we need to store this particular data into a KQL database. Let's jump direct ingestion. Let's jump into what is a direct ingestion. You will be able to see, if you want to see that what is the difference, you can just click on this I button. For some reason it's not working right now, maybe my issue. Okay, so hopefully my screen is visible, right? So now let me give a destination name, and this will be ISS target KQL dataset demo. Okay, and within this is the workspace which I have created, and within this there should be this particular database. Right now I need to add and configure. Okay, great. Now that this connection has been configured, and now we need to create a table within this database where we will be storing this particular responses which are there in the event hub, right? So let me create a new table, and let me give the name of the table as ISS responses demo table demo. It should be a KQL table, but let me not give KQL here. Okay, so this particular data connection which is already there, we have created. Now click on next, and here the format should be JSON. Okay, and we can see that 12 events found. So all the events that are there in the event hub have now come into the table which we are creating actually. Okay, so now another thing that you can see here is that this is the latitude and longitude they are actually coming as a pair, right? We need to segregate the latitude as well as the longitude. And here you can do it like there is a way of doing it. Let me find it out. Okay, you see the nested level is 1, right? If I just click on 2, you see that particular latitude and longitude, that particular JSON uh, nesting has been converted into individuals columns. It's a great feature, right? It's so easily we can do that parsing in JSON in Fabric. Okay, fine. We now finishing it off. Okay, and we are closing it. No, if you cancel now, okay, no, keep as is. Okay, and now we can close, I guess. Great. Okay, voila, the pipeline is now ready, and you see we are getting that ingestion. Okay, great. Now we can go into our KQL database. Let me go into our KQL database, right, and see and how to query the data, right? So if you go into the KQL database, so these are all the features that I'm showing you, right? What are the things that you can do, right? So you can see the data. Now if you want to do some analysis, you can want to see the data, query the data, you can easily do that. So here you want to do a query. So what are the data that are ingested in last 24 hours? It is showing up here. Okay, you see. I hope I don't need to, okay, I need to change my table name out here. Okay, so what was my table name? Okay, okay, this is my table, right? Here also, okay, great. Now let me run it. Okay, we are getting it right. So whatever the ingestion time, ingestion count, it is showing up in my table, right? Okay, now another thing that we can do is that we can directly build a Power BI report on top of that. You don't need to go into any, Power BI desktop or anything. So if you just click on this thing, it should give you the Power BI report pane where you can create this report. Just for a quick analysis, just for a quick, visualization, you can build this kind of things. So let me quickly. Okay, I don't want to do a visualization on account, but we can do it anyhow. Like you want to do it like this way, it is possible. But let me do it in a different way, right? Okay, so this is the way that we can do it. Okay, let me close this one. I will do a reporting on not on the aggregated data. I will do the reporting on the table itself. Let me do that and see what I can do here. Okay. So this is a table, and these are the fields. This is the latitude, longitude, which are present. Okay. So let me get a map visualization. So if I don't know if this is a license is needed or not, but let me try to do it. Okay. So this is a map, and if I now latitude and then I put the longitude out here, will it show me something? uh I think there is certain error is there, right? Okay, yeah. So fixed X, okay, so I think this is not possible with the kind of personal subscription which I do have. Okay, is it possible we can do it like this kind of visualization? Let me see. Or maybe this one. Oh no, all the maps visualizations are not possible, but obviously, like, if you have a kind of a Power BI Pro license or subscription, I think this is very much possible. You can do, but as of now, let us be content with the kind of a visualization with a simple, table format maybe. So I will go into, where is the table? I'm not able to find the tables anyhow. Okay, no, here they are. Okay, yeah. So this is the. I know that it's very small to visualize right now for you guys, but okay. I just want to touch upon what are the things that we can do in Power BI directly from this particular kind of a data set. There is a lot of scopes that you can build beautiful visualization on top of the streaming data. And with that, I will end this demo. Hope you have enjoyed it. And if you like this kind of tutorials, do consider subscribing this channel. Thanks a lot. Bye. Have a nice day.